Well, for more insight, let's cross live to the former Secretary of the Indian Commerce and Industry Ministry, Ajay Dua. Thank you for your time on RT International this morning. At Valdai, President Putin was complimenting India's ability to withstand this immense pressure that it's had from Washington over its ties to Russia. How do you think that could be used as a blueprint for other countries in the global south who are also facing this sort of pressure?
Thank you very much for having me in this discussion. I think the observation made yesterday by President Putin was highly relevant, particularly when he drew the examples of how India is facing up to the challenges which the new geopolitical situation has brought about. He mentioned, just to recap, that the United States has not only imposed a higher tariff on imports from India, but it has also levied economic sanction by way of a 25% penalty on the tariff already announced, for the only reason that India bought crude oil from Russia and that it continues to buy even now. To that, he elaborated, and I think he very well described what are the pros and cons of it. And I'm inclined to agree with the assessment of President Putin on what happens if India were to continue to buy from Russia, maintain the trade relations, and in which case it pays the penalty of this extra 25%. But then he said that this is just about the same amount as the admitted figure of $8 to $9 billion a year, which India saves by way of buying discounted crude oil from Russia. So he doesn't see any great advantage of India not continuing to buy from Russia, because he says the two square off in a way economically. He said that it turns out well, that if the relationship is maintained, there is no great advantage in economic terms, but politically, it is a matter of pride for Indians that they would not then be giving in to the pressure or the so-called sanctions of President Trump upon India.
Yeah, absolutely. But how could that be used as a blueprint for other nations in the global south? How could they use what New Delhi is doing for themselves to combat that sort of threat?
I think it is possible. We have established that in the last 2.5 to 3 years, ever since the February 2022, when the Ukraine-Russia war started, that it is possible to hold your own even when certain sections of the international community, particularly the industrialized world of the West, wants you to give in, and give in at what cost? To buy oil from somewhere else than from Russia. So this is an example which is relevant for almost all countries of the South, the southern, South-South, politically South now as we call them, or the Southern Hemisphere ones, because each country needs to take its own, put its own interest foremost, and if many of them do it, then it is also gives them the advantages of collective bargaining.
I think we're just losing the signal there very slightly. Very sorry, we are out of time as well. Thank you for joining us. That's the former Secretary of the Indian Commerce and Industry Ministry, Ajay Dua.